Bob Lazar said there's a previous person who was working on the job. They died. They tried to do something, and there was some sort of an explosion, and it was limited into what I think you and him together would be the greatest podcast of all time. Would you be interested in doing that? Because you'd be able to tell. Oh yeah, we'll dose you up.
Yeah,
we'll
but let me just say
something.
something.
What do you want? Adderall? What do you want? Mushrooms? We got.
I want a line of Sonoran Desert Toads, and every time you answer a question wrong, you got to lick the toad.
But you would be able to tell whether or not it's nonsense.
Yes and no. I'm not the best person.
You'd be better at it than
I'd
me.
be better than you.
For sure.
For sure. But you want to know, look, Sean Carroll and I don't get along.
You need to be here for this.
All right.
You.
I'll show up.
Specifically. I'll show up. You're going to be ready, man. This is, if you and him together would be so fascinating.
Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to Alien Addict on a fine and reptilian evening. Now, let's just check, shall we? I know I think I'm good. Let's do a few little. One of the feeds might, reveal my nipples. Speaking of nipples, I'm going to bring on my second nipple, my nipple in crime. Lee, my lad.
Well, I wouldn't be a nipple without a titty, would I?
I don't think reptilians have nipples.
What?
I don't think reptiles don't have nipples. Have you ever milked a reptile?
Don't know. They have some reptiles have live young, don't they? I don't know. Not sure. No idea. Never really thought about it, if I'm honest, Oliver. Never really thought about nipples on lizards. I assume Hillary Clinton's got nipples.
Well, probably green ones.
Green ones. Rancid green nipples.
Schnips.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where I am with the reptilians, but we'll get onto that. But we started a bit of a hashtag. I say we didn't start the hashtag.
No, we were nothing to do. If anything, we are just merely trying to ride the coattails of this hashtag.
We're riding the coattails. We had Lou reviews on, and Lou started the hashtag off Lazar to Congress, and there's also the hashtag Lazar and Wainstein going around to get those two on a show together. I don't think that will ever happen.
Do you know what, right? I didn't. And I listened to the Weinstein and Rogan podcast like late after. I didn't listen to all of it. Luckily enough, I got to that bit.
Confession, I listened to it fully today. I'd only seen clips before.
I haven't listened to it fully. Like I saw clips and
nearly 4 hours.
Yeah, exactly. The and like every Rogan podcast is that long, and then you get into one that takes a little bit of time to finish. We did a 3-hour show last week as well on Sunday, didn't we? Good lord!
But that's not me saying it's not entertaining, because it's a fucking great show. Just like ours, a great show.
So I didn't think that would happen until I listened back to it, because obviously I did. We'd spoke about this with Lou when he made the hashtag.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't really talk about the Rogan podcast last Sunday with Lou. So it was only when I listened back to the show, and like don't get me wrong, I fucking love Joe Rogan, but I do still have that thing in the back of my head where I
think he's a reptilian.
I don't think he's a reptilian, but he does have the biggest media platform in the world. His podcast is comparable to major fucking television networks, major news networks. So you always wonder, like, how I believe media is controlled to a large part.
Me too.
So how independent can something that size be, unless it's then I still have that thought of maybe he was the first big one that got through beforehand, because now you see there's something really weird about podcasts. I don't know if you've noticed this, but when you get podcasts with like famous people on. Like Conan O'Brien does a podcast, or who's the guy from Blackadder? Tony Robinson. He's just started a podcast as well.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, and when you see these people that are industry people, and then they sit down and do a podcast, and it's like listening to an hour radio show because they're too clean. You know, they're too trained. They know what they're doing too much, and that's not why people come to podcasts. It's not why people come to YouTube and stuff like that. And Rogan, although he's still super massive, still has that I'm kind of fucking about mentality.
Yeah.
About the show. So maybe he's just the powers that be didn't see what was on the horizon, and this guy that was essentially watching people do ridiculous stuff on Fear Factor, who's a dirty comedian. No one really thought. No one was looking his way as a threat to like the status quo of news. So
so you're saying that you've changed your tune on, then you think that Weinstein may.
Well, this is my thing.
So happen.
This is my thing, is that sometimes, and especially when it comes to the UFO stuff, I do feel like we're being fed things, and we have definitely been fed. We are definitely being fed a line when it comes to UFOs. But as far as him coming on Rogan and speaking to Weinstein, I kind of don't think Rogan would have brought it up if it wasn't a possibility.
Planned.
Yeah.
Well, you think I don't think Rogan would have picked up the phone to Jeremy and said, "Look, let's make this happen" beforehand.
Yeah, he's booking the biggest show in the world with the world's most popular people.
I know, but I think he thought of that off the cuff. I think he'd been to dinner with Weinstein the night before.
You think the guy that got the evolutionary biologist is Weinstein on his show, who's he's exceptionally good friends with, who has shown probably the biggest interest in the UFO dilemma, we'll call it.
Yeah, it's a dilemma.
Yeah, of any mainstream academics that are nothing to do with UFOs. Possibly, I can't think of somebody quite as high profile that was an academic that's gone like the way he has gone on lots of topics. To be perfectly honest, you know that guy he's had the fucking red pill. And then you've got Rogan on the other side of it. Now,
who's had every pill?
He's had every pill, and probably a couple of injections. I can't help think there's two. There's two reasons, two things that could be happening. Either he spoke to somebody in the background that said this is a possibility. He's brought it up to tease it, to sort of get some excitement, to get somebody to go and make a hashtag. And if that was the idea, it worked.
It did work.
Or Rogan thinks it's bullshit. And
not our idea. That was Lou Review's idea. But I did the thumbnail.
But we've said that Rogan has Rogan's backed off the UFO thing slightly, but he went fully in with Lazar. So in a way, I do wonder whether, because no one wants to be wrong, especially when you've got like you can't do what Rogan does without some sort of ego. You can't do it. And you also don't want people to feel like you've been duped by Jeremy Corbell and Bob Lazar when they came on your show?
Well, that's the thing, because he was out. He was totally out of UFOs until he watched. He actually says to his guests,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
got me back into UFOs was Jeremy Corbell's Bob Lazar, Area 51, and flying motherfucking saucers.
So how good would it be if you wanted to kind of change tack to make you so you don't look, so you can essentially talk shit about the guy and say, look, I don't think this is right, but not go, I was completely suckered, by throwing it out there that you can have Lazar come on and speak to Weinstein. Lazar either makes some sort of excuse up, or
Headache.
or Jeremy Carr. Yeah, that would have to be like a headache and a backache for that. The Corbell comes out and maybe he strings a line. So then you kick that can down the road for a month, and then it's completely reasonable for Rogan to turn around to another guest at some other time when it's brought up and go, well, I feel differently about it now. We gave Bob the opportunity to come on and speak to Eric, which would have been a much better person than myself to speak to, and he's kind of decided not to do that. So I don't really know where I stand on this anymore.
That's what Lou said, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, is it? Sorry, I missed that in that 3 hours.
It's fine. That is what he said, but that's what we were all thinking.
Yeah.
It's quite an obvious thing to think that it's not going to happen, and I think
it's a good way to get
Lou
back out.
was right on that show. Joe's going to put the pressure on for that to happen, and then he'll probably ask a few times. And Jeremy, I think there's two things. Either Jeremy will think this will be fucking amazing. It'll probably destroy. It's either right. If Jeremy doesn't believe Lazar, it won't happen.
I love this.
Weaponize your gullibility. See, I don't hate Jezza. I have no hatred for the man at all. I think the guy's a talent. He's got lovely feet. I love his beard. Beautiful.
Strong, powerful arms.
Strong, powerful arms. Yeah, in a heterosexual way as well.
And
I can appreciate a solid man.
If you happen to be gay, I think you'd feel very safe in them.
I would. I feel in those loving arms. I would. Plus, he knows jiu-jitsu, so I'm not gonna. And we're going to the States. We don't know how close we're gonna be, so we need to say that we've got the big bear. We've got our bodyguard.
I hear it's a large country.
Yes, it's double the size of it. It's double the size of England, I think, isn't it?
At least, maybe 2.5.
England and a half. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe if you stick England and Ireland together, that must be America.
I'm going to show up because I know Americans sometimes don't get British humor. We just think we're thick as fuck.
Just think about fucking. Have you not seen a map? Have you not seen a round map?
No, just a flat one.
So yeah, I mean, it'd be great, wouldn't it? Like it would be another one of those UFO milestone sort of shows, but. How do you know what would be incredible? Is if Lazar came on to speak to Weinstein and kept up.
Yes, that's what I said. That small clip, if you go back and watch it, people.
Yeah.
It's an edit from last week's show, where you had Lou on the Sunday show. That was an amazing show, by the way, Lee.
I enjoyed that. It was a good one.
Superb.
Yeah, it was. If Lou happens to be watching this show, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah. Welcome on anytime as well, my friend. We mentioned in that I think I said to Lou, but Lou, can you imagine if Lazar destroyed him? And Lou said, I want him to.
Oh my God, that is a thumbnail. Like the Star Wars spaceship, but it could be the Lazar destroyer.
We can make that happen. We can make that shit happen. I don't need AI, people. Just got Photoshop. Old school motherfucker. Yeah. I think if that happened and Lazar actually held a conversation with Weinstein, and Weinstein was like, "Holy shit!" Like if you could see it in his eyes that this guy's impressed by what Lazar is saying, that's changed the game.
Joe, what would be the interesting thing is how ufology, fuck. We need a different word. I fucking hate ufology.
Yeah,
It's not a
because
real
we
thing.
say it wrong. UFology.
Well, no, we don't say it wrong. No,
Goofball
we
used to love correcting me, going, "It's
no,
ufology."
we don't say it wrong because it's not a fucking word or field. It's not real. Like unicorns are more real than that. Go try and get yourself a doctorate in ufology. See how far you get.
We'll get a new word for it.
But yeah, I like the
Fuckery.
I prefer paranormal commentators, if I'm perfectly honest.
Oh, I like that.
But yeah, so if I'm more interested in seeing what the commentators say about this because I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter what happens, whether what Lazar does, if he goes on, runs rings around Weinstein, high fives him on the way out, it wouldn't be enough for Alien Scientist.
I was joking, Jen. Thank you. Yeah, no, the thing that that's another person I would love to see speak to Lazar, Alien Scientist, because he's always had beef. Like, and then we're talking like big beef with Lazar. He's thrown a few accusations his way. The thing is, there's so many people in the UFO community that say Lazar is full of shit. And I get why. The story is fantastic. The story is amazing. And let's face it, it's not really changed. There's been little bits like we never heard about the archaeological dig. We never heard about that until he was on Rogan. I could be wrong. If somebody can correct me on that and find that somewhere else, then fair enough. But the story's always been stable, and all of a sudden, good on Jeremy. He pulled him out of the woodwork and got a documentary made with him in. Now, do I believe that Lazar didn't profit off that? I mean, he said he didn't, but sometimes you may have a builder and or a decorator and pay him in cash. You don't want to claim the VAT or whatever. That happens in life.
Yeah.
There might have been a gentleman's handshake somewhere,
Gentleman's handshake.
All I'm saying is, if he's full of shit and he's lying, Corbell knows he's lying. Would you agree there? That I don't think you would have pulled the wool over a
Corbell. Yeah.
You think you could pull the wool over Corbell's eyes?
Of course.
I think he seems like a smart man.
Yeah, but see, I don't want to seem horrible here. I don't think he seems smart. And by that I don't mean I don't think he's stupid either. I just think he's a person. I just think he's like you or I. I don't consider myself smart or stupid. I'm clever enough to understand what I don't know, which is most things. But I think you've got two things. One thing I do believe about Corbell 100% is that he really loves doing what he does.
Yeah.
Like when you see him,
absolutely,
I think it's probably some of the reasons of why he's so ready to throw these things out I don't believe he is on the CIA payroll, for instance. If anything, I think he might be being Richard Doty'd essentially, and he's got somebody that's feeding him stuff and he's doing exactly what they want him to do. And probably has been promised more than he tells us he's been promised, So in that respect, he wants it to be real, and that's a dangerous position, isn't it? If you really want something to be true, then you've already kind of lost you've lost yourself.
Well, something that truth seekers told me on a show about Lazar, that Lazar, he was speaking to Corbell when he was doing the film, when he was making the film about Lazar. They were in a chit chat, I think a friendly chat, and Stephen said to Jeremy, you need to see what you can get out of him about this story being fake. And Jeremy's exact words were, if the story's fake, there is no documentary.
No, because it's not a documentary, then it's a mockumentary.
Yeah.
You can still,
which some people have accused it of being that.
Yeah. I mean, that's 90% of paranormal documentaries, isn't it?
Yeah,
there is like 90% of you can see
there is no proof.
Yeah, or there might be like a grain of something. There's a grain of something that's put in, and then it's just embellished on, and the next thing you know, you've got this amazing story with like intergalactic super networks of aliens that are all working together to try and make humanity bridge their way out of consciousness and into the fifth dimension. Whereas what actually happened was some guy was touched inappropriately by his uncle, and then he made up a story about being abducted. And then this whole new story.
You think Lazar was touched by his uncle?
No, I was meaning how stories just begin.
Thank you very much, Lee. Welcome to the show, my friend. He's given us a unicorn super sticker.
Oh, thank you for the unicorn. I sound like
Lee loves unicorns.
I do like unicorns. But let's face it, they're like horses, but they've got a weapon
or a toy.
Or a toy, depending on which end you want to put it. But anyway, yeah, I don't think he's out. I don't think Lazar is out there, out and out. Sorry, not Lazar. Corbell is out and out there trying to lie to people. I just don't believe that. I think if it's not true, he wants it to be true.
You think he's ignorant though to the truth, maybe a little bit?
I think maybe he turns a blind eye to it now and again.
How much is that documentary making though?
Yeah, but I mean that's. I do find it interesting that went straight to Netflix in the way it did.
It didn't go straight. I mean, where it was very quick. But I mean, this is
nobody knew about that documentary before it hit Netflix.
One of the things that really pissed me off on One of the Weaponized, when he was thanking everybody who made this documentary happen. One person who he didn't even mention.
Oh, you said it's Tyler.
And that video, I mean, love him or hate him. I mean,
I don't know why you would.
I'm friends with the...
You keep saying this, but I don't understand why you would mention Tyler in that video.
No, I'm not saying you should have mentioned him in the video. I saw the video had already been. Yeah. I think the video had already been made. I mean, so there was a Weaponized a few weeks ago, and he was thanking everybody, like Joe Rogan, all the people who promoted the film, this, that, the other. He was on with Bob Lazar on Secure Team 10, and Tyler plugged the shit out of that documentary for him, and that video I think got like quite a few million views.
Mm.
You've got a big audience, Secure Team 10. I
Yeah.
guarantee that pretty much most of that audience went across. I would say probably at least
It's going to be a good conversion rate because of the
yeah,
because you've got
at
the right
least
audience.
20 at the very least 20% of that viewership watched that film, downloaded that film and paid for it.
I don't know. Look, if
just give the guy a thank you, you know,
but he's always had a good base. You know, Tyler's had a good base, and I don't get me wrong. Out of the those old school UFO channels, there's more chance of me clicking on a Secure Team video than a like the Third Phase or the like UFO Jesus or something like that. There's more chance of me clicking on one of Tyler's videos than the others.
And before anybody says in the comment section, please leave comments or in the chat. Yeah, but Tyler's done some dodgy shit in the past.
This is what this is what I'm going to say.
Go watch the interview. I asked him about that.
But and this is the thing. So if you're trying to put out a documentary which is called Bob Lazar and the Flying Saucers, about a guy who worked at Area 51 that you're trying to convince people worked on extraterrestrial craft, there's been some questionable stuff put out on Secure Team 10.
Oh yeah.
So you just wouldn't associate yourself with them. That's why, like, I mean, I'm not going to keep fucking bagging on it. I'm sorry if it feels like I am doing it. But it's poignant and it makes sense. But I mean, I didn't think Greer had much credibility left. But like the credibility was completely torched when he started working with Third Phase of Moon. Like that shred of credibility that I thought Stephen Greer had is gone. So so it matters. It matters who you associate yourself with.
I think I understand the decision that Stephen Greer did there. I think the guy thought, why I don't need to make my films anymore. I'll just get them to do it.
And when we sit down and do interviews, I'm going to give them a script to read to me because I don't want to be interviewed. I want a script. I don't want any pushback. I just want to be wax lyrical about.
Yeah, you're probably right there, and I think that's the thing because the
well, they make fake content anyway. Listen, they make fake content anyway, so why wouldn't they make feature-length fake content with Greer?
Why wouldn't they?
That's it. Yeah,
the businessmen.
Exactly, that's their job. Don't get me wrong, that's their fucking job. I get it.
Unlike you, I don't dislike them.
I don't know them enough to dislike them. I get a funny vibe, but I don't know them enough to dislike them.
I rebelled after the phone call I got from Blake. I don't know if I've told you this, but yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Take the video down. No,
yeah,
absolutely not. Fuck you. I'm not taking the video down. I'm at work, by the way. Bye.
A big channel irritated me taking a documentary that was critical about them down.
The thing is, I'm not bending over to do things for people.
No, but let's talk about interesting people anyway, rather than Third Phase of Moon.
Bob Lazar. He's an interesting character. I don't care what anybody says. That motherfucker's interesting. Here's the thing, because I don't know if I've asked you this many times. We've known each other, what, now 2-3 years, something like that?
Yeah.
You didn't say much in terms of you believing Bob or not when Lou was on last week on your show.
It's because I don't know what to do. And the problem is I feel like what I think I'm like a phase 1 Corbell. Because I really, really want that to be true. I really want it to be true. And that's why I think I understand that if all of a sudden I happened to be walking down the road, bumped into Bob Lazar, Bob Lazar turned around and said, "Lee, how you doing? I could do with somebody else to make a documentary with me." I'd go, "Great, Bob. Let's go and talk about the flying saucers." I get it. I must admit, like the longer it goes on, the less I believe it. And that the archaeology thing you brought up before, the digging them up, that really that jumped on me because I thought you saved that for Rogan because you haven't said that before.
Something new.
Unless it's a Mandela effect. Maybe if we go back and look at the
my fucking God, you're
maybe
right.
if we go back and look at the original interviews, the first thing he said, yeah, they were dug up from an Antarctic archaeological dig.
Unless though that's something that he's thought of later in life, what those weird injection molded saucer shaped things that I was working on. Maybe they were maybe they've been around forever. The thing is though, I want him to if he gets on with someone like Weinstein, yeah, you're gonna get the questions that I want to ask him. Okay, Bob, how did you get the element 115 out? Ask him about the mechanism of the door when he got in, everything. More questions about what the thing was. There's not enough of that out there. People go, yeah, there's plenty of that out there. There's not. There's nobody that really. If he was there, and I believe he was there working on that thing for. Was it? I mean, I think it was at least a week. It was at least. I think it may be more than a week. I need to have done some research. Yeah, he was there for a bit.
Oh, it would have been weeks because don't forget he was there long enough. He was there long enough for his wife to have an affair and for him to be surveilled for it.
Maybe she was already having the affair.
No, but still, for him to start there and then for them to do a surveillance program, bring him in, because don't forget also he got to learn the flight test patterns, which is why he took John Lear out into the desert. So you're talking weeks, not days, if not months.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm gonna quickly play without the intro bit, but just this little clip again because
Bob Lazar said there's a previous person who was working on the job. They died. They tried to do something and there was some sort of an explosion and it was limited into what I think you and him together would be the greatest podcast of all time. Would you be interested in doing that? Because you'd be able to tell. Oh yeah, we'll dose you up.
Yeah,
we'll
but let me
you
say
want.
something.
What do you want? Adderall? What do you want? Mushrooms? We got.
I want a line of Sonoran Desert toads, and every time you answer a question wrong, you got to lick the toad.
But you would be able to tell whether or not it's nonsense.
Yes and no. I'm not the best person.
You'd be better at it than
I'd
me.
be better than you.
For sure.
For sure. But you want to know, look, Sean Carroll and I don't get along.
You need to be here for this.
All right.
You.
I'll show up.
Specifically. I'll show up. You're going to be ready, man. This is, if you.
Yeah.
It feels a weird thing. Feels a weird thing to have that in the middle of a podcast.
What I just did?
No, not you, Rogan. It just popping up out of nowhere. That would be the greatest podcast ever.
He mentioned it at the beginning of the podcast.
And it's wrong because the greatest podcast ever is Joe Rogan with Alex Jones and Eddie Bravo. Which you can, interestingly enough, after all of the YouTube drama with Joe Rogan, you can still go and watch on YouTube.
You'll see that.
Yeah. Unbelievable podcast. I loved every minute of that.
Weinstein doesn't exactly say in that podcast that he's going to destroy Lazar, that he'll destroy Lazar. He never says that. So, does he think that Lazar has a little bit of know-how to hold a conversation with him? I think he does.
What does Lazar?
I think Weinstein thinks that, that he would be able to hold his own.
Well, Eric Weinstein.
What would be the point?
Eric Weinstein is one of the people come at me for this. I would personally believe. I don't think there's actually a score chart. I think Eric Weinstein is one of like the great popular thinkers, like
Mhm.
with thinkers
Agreed.
in pop culture, we'll say, that in the world right now. I think he's, and that doesn't mean you have to be the smartest person in the world. I consider Jordan Peterson up with this as well, because sometimes, I mean, being massively intelligent helps, but some people just have a really good way around thinking around situations, and they're not just thinking around situations, articulating how they thought around
Yes.
those things. And then idiots like us go, oh, okay, I'll clean my room.
Well, that's the thing, because I was just listening to the podcast this morning on the way home from work today, and I don't get any of that stuff. I really don't. I don't get it. It's just way my brain cells. I don't have enough. But he explained some of those, the way this thing could work in a way that I can kind of like assimilate it and go, oh yeah, I get that. Now that he's explained it like that, he explains things very well. I think Joe Rogan gets loads of people on that do that can explain something extremely complicated to somebody like, a Neanderthal like myself. And
Yeah,
well,
well, it's the sign of intelligence.
you're not quite a Neanderthal, but you're almost there.
But it's a sign of intelligence if you specialize in something or believe that you hold knowledge in something. If you can't explain that to everybody, then you're not as smart as you think you are. You should be able to hold a conversation. If you're a nuclear physicist, you should be able to hold that conversation with your peers and then walk into a pub and basically explain what you're doing to somebody else, so they have like a basic grasp of what you're talking to. Because otherwise, you're just condescending to people, and it's not. Nobody wants to be in one of those situations where someone just condescends from the clouds to speak to the common folk and confuse them.
Also, it'd be a shit Joe Rogan show if they just spoke full on science and you're just like, I have no idea what this guy's saying.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing that makes me think about Lazar going to Area 51. And what one of the if Lee's in one of those days where he goes, right, I want to think about ways to buy into this, you would think that a spaceship is a crashed UFO is a puzzle. Like it's just an unbelievable Rubik's cube that we don't understand how the technology works. We don't understand how the propulsion works. We don't understand really like the physiology and biology of the creatures that are flying around with them, let alone the origins of these things. It's just an enigma wrapped in a myth, wrapped in a puzzle. You would want those people, not necessarily textbook academics, because if you got like 500 textbook academics, they're probably they've all gone to the same school, they've all hung out, they're all going to arguably come up with similar ideas and similar things. But if you've got those like out of the box thinkers, if Lazar happens to be one of those, that's where you're gonna find progress, I would think, as a caveman.
Yeah. I'm just I can't
Pausing for
get
super chats, good idea.
we haven't got a super chat.
No, I know. That's
now you have knocked me off my train of thought. The way we kind of like take information in, the average Joe, when it comes to
great difficulty.
Yeah, with great difficulty, someone who's got a scientific background. Now, I understand Weinstein on that podcast more than I understood Lazar, because Lazar put a few things in there that I was like, what is he saying here? It was almost like he was speaking mumbo jumbo. And I'm wondering if somebody who knows physics, Weinstein's what? He's a mathematician, is listening to that and going, he's just, I can see what he's doing here. He's just he's giving them some information that's way out there. And
Yeah,
he's just going to knock them out. Joe's not even going to be able to ask a question on the back of that. And when he did, he's holding his head like he's got a headache. So now,
what I do find interesting is that they didn't speak about the interview, the one that's already been.
Which one? There's a few of them.
Well, no, the interview.
You're
with
talking
Rogan.
about the first. Oh,
yeah.
They didn't speak about the interview with Bob Lazar.
Yeah, because if the
yeah, you're right. You mean Weinstein didn't
because
obviously
Weinstein, obviously Weinstein has listened to that interview
100%.
So either he believes there is. I mean, I'm going to say words here, and it's going to come to no conclusion. Either he believes that there's some validity behind the story, or he doesn't, or he thinks it's all nonsense, but didn't want to say it was nonsense at that time because he didn't want to scare Lazar off the idea of coming on Rogan's podcast because he would like to do it face to face.
Well, that would be the smart thing to do, even if he thought I'm going to absolutely fucking rip his arsehole in half. He as a good chess player, holds his moves. That may be what he's doing. So yeah, you're probably right there, Lee.
Yeah, and let's not forget, like, although an academic, let's not forget that he's Eric Weinstein's job now is being Eric Weinstein. Because he had the he's not been like a tenured professor somewhere, has he? Since the if tenured is the right word, if it's not, I'm sorry.
I need to keep flashing this up.
Since the what college was it?
Oh, I can't remember that.
It was the college where he misgendered someone, didn't he? He did. It was a similar situation to the Jordan Peterson situation,
right?
But he was held hostage by a group of students, and it was in the university. I can't remember whether it was one of those extremely far left. I will kick myself as soon as I think of the name of the university. Anyway, but his job is being Eric Weinstein now. His job is the podcast he does, the Dark Horse podcast, probably speaking events. I'm not sure whether he's got a book coming out or whether he's just put another book out or what his situation is. If he has released a book, I've never read anything he's written.
Come on here, Will. You can sell it.
But yeah, oh no, I'm sure whatever it would be excellent. Evergreen University. Was that the other Weinstein? I thought, was that his brother? Interesting. Okay. But yeah, like I say, his job has been Eric Weinstein, right? Regardless of that part. So a Joe Rogan podcast with him and Bob Lazar on wouldn't do him any harm whatsoever. Brett Weinstein, of course it was. Thank you.
I just want to quickly address that. So the issue I have with the interview, talking about those crafts being archaeological, there was nothing said on the back to back that up. Nothing. And there was bits in that interview where Corbell was speaking for Lazar. I'm not saying that I don't believe Lazar. I've got no proof out that. What I'm saying is, I think Lee's saying the same, and Lou that was on last week. I don't think there's any harm on Bob Lazar going and speaking with somebody who knows their shit when it comes to mathematics.
Hmm.
Hell, get him in front of a fucking physicist.
Lex
You
Friedman
know?
would be another good one.
Yeah, 100% Lex Friedman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because then you've got something there to back up somebody who is actually in the know that can actually ask Lazar a question, a scientific question about the physics, whatever, that he's gonna have to answer and make sense to somebody who knows what he's talking about.
Mm.
Because if I was talking to Lazar, Joe Rogan, he's a clever guy. He's a clever guy. I mean, he's not a mathematician. He doesn't really know physics. He's probably learned a bit over the years from the guests that he's had on, and he's probably
Yeah.
become a more intelligent man from it. That and the whiskey and the weed.
Mm.
But if I guarantee if Bob Lazar was talking at the dinner table with him about, and he started to ask him some of the things about how this thing might have moved, this, that, and the other, and Bob got a bit scientific with him, Joe's not going to be able to go anywhere with it because he's not got a scientific background. But somebody with a scientific background will be able to ask the questions that you in the chat, and you watching this now, whoever you are watching this video, you deserve to get that answer.
Mm.
Because with a fucking huge claim like that, and I'm going to quote Spider-Man here, he's got a fucking huge responsibility to deliver.
Yeah.
You can't just tell fairy tales. I'm not saying it's a fairy tale. I hope it's not. I want this shit to be real. Do I, though? Do we want flying saucers, Lee?
I mean, the longer it's go on, the less I believe in it. To be perfectly honest, but like as far as machinery goes, and even then, like I don't know whether I would end up believing more in Bob Lazar or believing less or believe less in Joe Rogan if it was to happen.
What if Lazar was to go on with Weinstein?
Yeah, and hold his own, and everyone left the room going, "Oh my god, this guy built the UFOs."
You mean you become even more of a conspiracy, and you go, "Fuck me, Joe's in on it."
Maybe.
Weinstein's in on it now as well. Fuck me, Corbell's making another documentary.
Yeah, maybe.
But why would Joe actually give a shit? Because I mean, when you've got that much money,
or maybe he's got that money because he was put in the position to do it.
what lead this thing?
Well, not just this thing. I mean, I think the whole UFO disclosure is a massive disinformation campaign. I think it's a huge psyop. I think it has been from day one, from that first New York Post article. Now, as far as Lazar going on the Rogan and Corbell, the question would be: are they part of the psyop, or did you get someone like Corbell that was smart enough to see the tide turning and thought that Lazar story could be dug back up, and I can make some money out of this? You know, that's because realistically, I think the loads of people made a mistake because realistically, the only guy that did like well out of the New York Post, was it Post article? I always get them mixed up as New York Times or New York Post.
I get mixed up as well. I think you're right.
Either way, when it was in newspaper, the only people that really did well, that rode that wave, that went in and bought Bitcoin at like $1 a Bitcoin, was Lazar and Corbell, and what's his name, the journalist,
George Schnapp.
Yeah,
and the Napster.
They're the only ones that went in and made it into entertainment. And I can't help but think that everybody from like Corey Good to obviously like fucking nutcase, but like people like him and
The guy does dress like Michael Jackson when he's in a court of law.
does, which is weird. And
Thank you, Shane.
the
We love your
cock,
support.
like the Will
You
cock.
can't call him a cock. He's just giving us $2.
Put an extra zero behind it. That'll be nicer.
He's just greedy. Thank you, mate.
But like these guys, they should have jumped on. You know, if they even what's his name? Greer didn't capitalize properly. If Greer had done what Lazar did with Corbell, Greer could have been right back at the top of the totem pole again. Like selling the spiel. Instead, all he's doing is he's just still selling the stuff to like the same echo chamber he always has done. It hasn't penetrated out further.
You're right. It is weird that no one's kind of like nobody else did it. Corbell did it though.
Well, but the thing is, I think there was less arrogance from the
from Corbell.
yeah. I think I don't know, because I don't want to say entertainment, because that just makes it sound even more that gives the other people credibility that I don't believe they deserve. I think there is a reluctance of some of these people to step outside into the mainstream because of the fear of ridicule and because they have such little substance behind them that they would get ripped down. You know, and the thing with the Lazar story, you can pull it apart, and I know people have pulled it apart, but the reason it's a good conspiracy is because he worked at Area 51. Of course his history had been deleted when he went to work on flying saucers. You know, like, have you not seen Men in Black? I'm surprised they didn't neuralize his family.
That's the only thing that doesn't hold the story together is background.
That's the only thing that does. The idea
you think it could be wiped?
Yeah, well, of course it could be wiped.
What, and nobody be able to say, yeah, I remember him.
There was a picture of Kim Kardashian. I think it was Kim Kardashian, the one that the person that was out with Jay-Z, or I can't remember. One of the socialite.
Kardashian. Didn't the Kardashian go out with Kanye?
I'm no good with pop culture. Either way, one of the socialite type people, there was a photograph dropped of them that they didn't like. That photograph was just wiped clean, and the way it works is I was listening to a thing about this just the other day. So what happens is these things essentially have to be put out. So you need somebody to have the exclusive on it. So the a publication is paid to have the exclusive. Then they pull it. And then because they have the rights to the exclusive, then people can go after the individual things and wipe those down off it. I'd have to go and look it back up, but it is absolutely possible that if you can
isn't that what happened with the Reddit alien? It just about got scrubbed everywhere.
I just don't think that was real.
Why did it happen then? Not Reddit, sorry, 4chan.
4chan. Yeah.
I think we knew each other at the time when that happened.
Yeah, well, we did a show about it. I think the longer that's gone, I just don't think it was real. I think it was just
publicity. Because I mean, why would it take the whole fucking channel down?
I think it might have been trying to take away the because you had that it came out at the Q stuff, didn't it?
There was something else there, and that was to.
Not even just alien. To deflect, because they were under such scrutiny with that. if you could have a fun above top secret story that
We'll
comes
just call
out.
it the letter that's a circle with a line going through it, just for the algorithm.
Well, I mean, if that's true, then snooker's fucked. Pool also. So I don't think I think maybe if you stick the other letters after it, you might be fucked. But
What
I
if we
think
call it a qua?
maybe I think the I think we'll get away with a letter. But yeah, I think they were just
Lee, they've been fucking us recently. All our videos are getting demonetized left, right, and center. That's a hint, people. Make sure you share the videos out, because at
we've had
some
really
point,
clean shows as well, haven't we? Like, yeah, there's
sorry to
been
let you off guard,
nothing.
but I just had to say that. Yeah,
Yeah. There's been nothing what you call like edgy.
yeah. So if you want to support us, people, and speak it, and it kind of goes with the video. There you go. 115. I can fly. Get yourself some merch. Links are in the description, people.
Yeah, or just fire a super chat in, even if you got nothing to say. Just say hi. That helps the channel as well. We got kids. Some we own, some are ours, some are just in the basement, some are getting drained.
To be fair, we may not be around for much longer when Dave eats us in America.
That's fair.
What's the point in anything?
We need to build up enough in super chat so we've got an escape plan. But no, I think Lazar's. I believe that if I'm sure they do it in the Secret Service. Yeah, I'm sure there's people that that sort of. I don't know if there's like James Bond type people doing James Bond type stuff, but I'm pretty sure that if you get taken into that role, that there will be people that just have their history just deleted. The people that wander around with like 18 passports with different names and stuff. It just makes sense.
It's just so scary to think that somebody could do that, especially back then.
Well, you'd have to do it anyway, because like you would want. I mean, fair enough. It'd be nice to know what the rest of his family is like. Is it just him and his wife? If could you essentially like could you cut the leak quickly? That's the only thing I don't get about that, is like when he was taking like John Lear and stuff out to look at jets and stuff, and to look at UFOs. Like, I find it very difficult to believe that you smuggle people into a secret military base. They bring you in for questioning. They tell you your wife's been fucking somebody else, and then they let you go home. That doesn't seem to be the way I feel interrogation would go.
No, I mean, I will say this. I think when we had Goof on for a show, he said something about, isn't it weird though that he looks like Bob Lazar? He looks like his character, doesn't he?
Bob Lazar.
Yeah, I find
that we've had this conversation with Rich, didn't we, on a show before?
That's what I'm saying. It was Goof on Rich. But he's right. He does look like his character.
Yeah.
It could be something completely different that we're not even. Maybe he is supposed to be the guy.
I get that. And
they're playing the long game. Maybe maybe all along it was supposed to be Corbell that picked it up. Wherever this thing is leading us, because that's what Weinstein said on the show, is his concern with the UFO thing is where it's leading. It seemed it's the way he was saying it, that, and he spoke about things that had gone over the last 2 years. He spoke about that. He spoke about the war. And this, he didn't say the final card. So he didn't. He didn't say he didn't quite say blue beam, but I think he was implying it. Almost like he was in. No, Weinstein. I've just been listening to that show today, and towards the end, that's what he was saying.
I saw that bit on the clips. Yeah, sorry, I get what you mean. Sorry, I got confused then because I was thinking Lazar, and then I got
Lazar's never mentioned blue beam.
I got Greer in my head then as well, because like blue beam is Greer's jam right now, isn't it?
Greer always gets in my head.
Yeah,
that's a hint. People hit that thumbs up.
By thumbs up, we mean give us money. Yeah, I find that it's so interesting because Weinstein said that on a different podcast as well. He was talking about the it's in not so many words, isn't it? Because he keeps putting it forward as like, are these people being truthful with us? If they're not being truthful with us, to what ends are they not being truthful with us, and for what reason? That's the interesting thing for me. Excuse me. With ufology, God, I said it.
You did. You said it with pride as well.
Yeah, but that's the interesting thing for me at the minute is just, why are we being lied to? What's it for? And I know people could turn around and say, "Oh, it's you'll get skeptics that'll, or like conspiracy theory skeptics that'll say, oh yeah, well it's just to take your eye off, isn't it? It's just there's disinformation to stop you to cover up things." You go, what? Like, everything else is out there. Like they say, yeah, but you know, there's like chemical explosions and train derailments. You go, yeah, we know about them all. You know, we know all of the things that's going on. So if we can't be being misdirected away from something that we already know. So that I don't understand why over the past 4 years there has been a concerted effort by, I don't want to say the US government, but I do believe it's part of it. Well, no, because I don't know whether it is the US government or whether the US government is just a tool, like using CNN or Joe Rogan is just a tool. You know, but let's just say there is a group of people that for some reason must be powerful enough to pull the strings to make it happen, but they want at least the Western world, at least the US, maybe the wider Western world, to believe we are being visited by extraterrestrial craft. Because that's even when it's done tongue in cheek, it's still the underlying tone of this, isn't it? The underlying tone is, even when talked about the Tic Tac and stuff like that, the underlying tone is, well, we don't know what it is, and no one's saying like it's probably Martians, but they are saying, well, we don't know what it is. It's not ours, and it's not our adversaries. You go, well, it's not fucking dolphins, is it? So where does that leave us? If you're saying it's not us or our adversaries, what is it? And the undertone to all that is that we are being visited by extraterrestrial beings. I simply don't believe that.
What was interesting, and this probably goes in it very much in line with your thinking, and I would say that I'm starting to become accustomed to it. When Weinstein was asked by Joe after he got the whiskey out, what do you think it is? What do you think it is? He spoke about a tribe, and I can't for the life of me think of the tribe, but basically it's the tribe that is untouched. You're not allowed to go there.
Is it like Papua New Guinea or something like that?
I don't know. Somebody will know in the chat.
A bell? I don't know.
But it was It's basically a tribe that you cannot go to. My dad spoke to about it loads
Yeah.
of times. He used to be in the merchant navy. You can't get anywhere near it. You're not supposed to go anywhere near that place.
Mm.
Also, they say you can probably kill them with a sneeze. What he said
Wasn't so long ago we were told that we could kill each other with a sneeze as well, and that was bullshit.
I knew you were going to come out with that.
There's something else I don't believe in.
Weinstein said, can you imagine if all of a sudden we was just looking at that island and we saw a mushroom cloud? We've left them alone for long enough. And all of a sudden we're looking at it and we're saying, what the fuck is that? And they've gone and nuked. They've all of a sudden developed nukes. They've developed. They've advanced that much. We've not even been looking at them. He spoke about an outside, something that may be here already, that is well aware of us. And all of a sudden, when we started to use the nukes, that's what.
Yeah, but that was ages
triggered
ago.
The interest. It was ages ago, but we've still got that technology, haven't we? So
yeah, no. So why? Like why? And if anything, I could understand it ramping up.
But isn't it interesting though, Lee, that somebody like him has the same thought process as yourself, saying, "What if they're already here? What if whatever it is, is already here?" And they're like, "These motherfuckers are playing with our planet. They're fucking about with this is our place too."
But there's but that theory, and it's I've said before, like if it's something non-human, I believe it's earthbound. I don't believe it's coming from somewhere else. But the problem I have with that idea of they're worried because we've got the nukes. First of all, like we dropped one of those a long time ago. That would have been the time to step in.
Well,
if you were worried, yeah, but if you were worried about it, that would have been the time to go, lads. Let us have a chat with you. We're coming from Atlantis to say, hey boy. They haven't, like, they, as in the aliens, haven't done anything. The New York Post did something. Pilots talking about things that we haven't seen did something. Fuzzy flare footage that we don't really know what we're looking at did something. Bob Lazar and other people coming on Joe Rogan did something.
Flare footage that we just look at and go, "Oh yeah, look at that! It's amazing."
Yeah.
You any YouTube channel that's looking at that and commenting, going, "Look at that thing! Wow!"
Yeah, reacting
you
to
have
it like
no fucking idea.
Yeah, reacting
it doesn't
to it like
look
a
impressive.
16-year-old playing fucking Fortnite.
It doesn't look impressive, does it? It does not to the average Joe.
No UFO video looks impressive. Not a single one is impressive.
There's a couple, but some of them are questionable.
No, that's it. The only ones that are impressive are the ones that look a bit fake, that look like they're not real.
I do like and I can't think of the freaking name. I always lose the name of the one that goes in and out of water. That little tiny dot. That is weird.
Yes, that's weird.
That's more than likely our tech, but it's something way more advanced than what commercial people have.
Moody Mongol's well in it. You go down the rabbit hole, you get to a place like Argentina where you have 100,000 plus Germans, won't say that just in case for the algorithm, that don't think they lost the WW2. Yeah, I mean, look, man, I'm more than down that rabbit hole if any of yous don't follow Majid Noirs on Twitter and like follow his stuff on Odyssey, it's worth going and checking out. He tends to think that maybe those particular Germans technically didn't lose the war. They just infiltrated various different aspects of the West, and that's why we're seeing things go a bit haywire now. It's all very interesting.
Well, I've had I don't know if you remember, and he's long gone now. I don't know where he's gone. So if anybody sees him about, tell him we're thinking about him on Alien Addict. Kyle from UFO Proof had a theory about what possibly could have crashed in Area 51 was German tech after the war. And the reason why they said we've got a flying fucking saucer is because maybe back then they were like, holy shit, we've got a flying saucer. This is we're the first we've got the flying saucer. We are US, we're USA, we've got the flying saucer, grand. And then all of a sudden they realized it was fucking German. And they were like, take that motherfucker back, it's a weather balloon. We cannot admit to this, something that we didn't win the war.
But it was a good chunk after. It was a good chunk after the Second World War, wasn't it?
1946.
Yeah,
I believe. Tell me if I'm right or wrong, there, people. But I'm pretty sure. Roswell,
I can't remember when the crash was.
1946.
See, the problem I have with like the Glocker stuff and things like that was the Nazi super weapons. Well, if they had, see, so some of those conspiracy theories are so crazy, like Nazi moon bases, and I know they went to Antarctica in ships. I know New Swabenland was.
Let's go look for the Ark. You know, so in the middle of the war.
Oh, yeah. No. Some of that stuff, like, and the Himmler, I believe it was. That was found. Maybe 15 years ago. It was in mid 2000s. In the castle where his like SS branch, however you would say it, was housed. They were looking at plans of it, and in his office, someone was like, "Dave, there's a room over there." He's like, "Don't be so stupid, Cyril. There's no room. There's a wall there." And they knocked that wall down and found the largest private collection of occult books ever discovered. And it had just been sat behind a false wall in this castle, which was open to the public. You know, it was open as a museum.
Lee, I'm sorry, but that seems to be a perfect plug. Sorry to knock you off guard, but keep that thought right in your head.
Sunday.
This Sunday, people. Lee's show, 9 p.m. It's all about Crowley.
So yeah, I mean, like the money and resources they put into magic. Let's not fuck around. Is incredible. But then again, some people would say, well, maybe if they didn't fund magic, they wouldn't have lost the war. So the magic didn't work. However, as far as like the technology side goes, I tend to think if they cracked anti-gravity, like we'd all be driving Volkswagens.
I do drive a Volkswagen.
Da, da, da. Is it a Golf? You look like a Golf man.
I do have a Golf.
Yeah,
I do have a Golf. Yeah,
GTI.
It's an old man's Golf, mate. It's a Blue Motion. It's a 1.6 Blue Motion.
Right. Okay.
It's nippy. It's nippy. Yeah, not a GTI. No, I'm not that young anymore. I'm all about the fuel consumption. You know.
Right. Okay. Well, I get it now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Did
I
he?
was wait. I got rid of my Sporty Fiesta for that. So yeah,
Did you have an RS?
I did.
Good.
It was
Sorry,
bloody
carry
lovely.
on. It's the part of the show where we talk about hot hatches.
Yeah. 2-door. Oh, lovely. Then I had a child that destroyed it. Couldn't get him in the back.
You destroyed a child.
Come on. It needs to be on Rumble for that. What if, though, what you're saying there with the Nazis? What if Bob Lazar was actually telling the truth there? In his head, about them being archaeological dig, from an archaeological dig, the Nazis went out to Antarctica for some reason. Then all of a sudden you've got a crash in Area 51 that is rumored to be of Nazi German, Nazi origin. I'm not going to say Germans because I bloody love Germans and food is amazing. Beers are better. But the Nazis need to stop saying Nazis. What if that's where he got that idea from? I'm not saying he's telling the truth, but maybe he got that idea from that train of thought, that the Germans got that technology first before anybody. They went out there where we're not supposed to go.
Then they would have won the war.
Well, maybe they already did. We just don't know it.
I mean,
because it was never about a country. It was about a belief system.
Yeah, a pretty grim belief system, but I mean, like a
horrible belief system, but it was about a belief system.
But
I don't think that was ever about a country. I mean, they may say it's about a country, but they wanted that whole country to believe in that that system, and you know what? A lot of them didn't believe in it, but they had to go along with it.
I've no idea. I mean, that's the line, isn't it? The line is that people are pushed into doing bad things. I don't think I believe that anymore. I think people just go along with self-preservation and can get into pretty grim stuff pretty easily.
Yeah.
Again, last 2 years, if things had swung a slightly different way, people like me and you wouldn't be allowed to leave our houses anymore.
No.
So it's very, I don't, the underlying goodness of people I believe in, the underlying goodness of many people at the same time, I've lost faith in.
Yeah. Because, well,
mass formation psychosis is like
a thing.
That's my tagline of the last half decade, I think. But yeah,
this is it though. It'll be everybody else that's saying, "Holy shit, Lee! Lee, your show, Alien Addict, you were right. There's aliens. Look, they're all on the news now."
We'll be conspiracy theories because
don't believe that shit.
Yeah, I don't. That's the thing, and like we get onto this so much, and like I say, it's because I think it's the most interesting thing.
You feel that's about to happen. It feels like that's about to happen.
Yeah, it feels like we are at the precipice of
mum and dad saying there's aliens.
Not just, but even if it's not that, at the end, it feels like we're at the precipice of change. And be that maybe, see, the only other the only other thing I can think is that have you heard of the is it the bullshit theory? I think it's
I like that
sometimes
name.
it's referred to as the bullshit theory. The bullshit theory is that all conspiracy theories are purposely put out there to cause absolute chaos. And it's all misinformation, from Bigfoot to UFOs to ghosts to Atlantis to the BBC actually being journalists. All conspiracy theories are just thrown out there. I kind of think that we are living in an extreme version of that, from the problems we're having, like intersectionality, the arguments between race and sex, and confusion with gender and stuff like that. It feels like there is like a blanket bomb in the form of social media being spread across the world that is just there to cause chaos, because most of the time, if you sit down and speak to somebody one-on-one, you get on with them. You might walk away thinking they're a dickhead.
Regardless of who they are.
Yeah,
what they
you might
believe
walk
in.
away. You might walk away from that person and go, I don't really want to speak to you again. But you won't argue with them. Or you might have an argue with them and you walk away, but it won't come to fisticuffs. You know, it'll just be like a disagreement and you walk away.
I said last
Not
week.
now, but it doesn't feel like that now. It feels like if you get the wrong person, and especially the weaponized ones, you can just like be unaligned with their belief system by a fraction, and they will want to destroy you for not agreeing with that fraction of a conversation that you didn't agree with them for. And I think this is all by design.
Do you remember the days? Do you remember the days though when you'd go out, you go to a house party or whatever, and you'd have somebody who had a completely different belief system than yourself, and you'd be able to hold a normal conversation and laugh, giggle, and it didn't matter.
It's how I spent the majority of my life from the age of 15 to about 28, 30.
I'm sure anybody else in the early 40s will remember this, when you used to go to a house party or whatever. You'd meet somebody that, you know, had a complete different thought process to how you grew up or whatever. You would get on with them like a house on fire. It just didn't matter. But now you cannot have that conversation without some motherfucker getting giddy. It's insane. And wanting to cancel you.
It's strange. Dalai Lama was cancelled. That was a turn up for the books.
I mean, he did say "suck my tongue." Oh shit!
Yes. He got the words of a famous Red Hot Chili Pepper song wrong. But
it's a little bit odd, though, wasn't it?
I'll be dead honest. I thought the kiss with the child was like what you'd see a grandparent do to a grandchild.
Yeah, they do that. I'll vouch for that.
Grandma Dalai Lama, and I thought, yeah, I can accept this. And then I watched it with the sound on, and then I thought, oh, asking someone to suck your tongue is a bit weird.
Yeah, my gran never asked me to suck a tongue.
No, I've never been asked to suck somebody's tongue. Never.
Oh. Neither
have you?
No.
But yeah, it's sorry. That's kind of where I am with this now. That maybe the UFO thing is just to keep us occupied and to keep in the same way as the gender thing at the moment has essentially fractured the LGBT community, and it's the whole pride community is there's two wings of that now, like everything else, then that spreads out, and that fractures everywhere else. But so that's those people. Then you've got right and left politics, which is so tribal now that you have you have people now that wouldn't you get the hashtags of oh, you wouldn't date a Tory or something like that. So that keeps the politics fighting with each other. The UFO stuff now is built to keep the conspiracy theorists fighting with each other. It seems like everything has become political.
It does, and it's
And Bob Lazar and Rogan and Weinstein would just add fire to all that, and a new argument would blow up.
What would the new argument be, though? If Lazar, if let's just say Weinstein and Lazar get on like a house on fire, and Weinstein buys right into it, and it's like,
I want that to happen, not even for me to believe it, just to watch UFO channels and see what happens.
yeah, I mean, Lou said he would do a video straight away after it, you know, apologizing. I don't know, did he say that I'm putting words into his mouth? I'm probably putting words into his mouth, but I'm sorry if I am. I think that it would go wild.
I think it'd be interesting. Like, one thing I've noticed, because
what would happen with the debunkers?
I think they keep debunking. I think they would then debunk Weinstein and Rogan. I think there'd be, then you would get some people which would then jump right on board with that. People that probably don't know, like Weinstein from Epstein, would suddenly become fans. But ultimately, I think the two belief systems, either like the super skeptics would use it to fortify what they already believed, and the believers would use it to fortify what they already believe. And then you get people like us in the middle going, I don't even know if I was abducted. I believe it was aliens.
Do you know? I really don't understand. And if anybody watches that Joe Rogan and Eric Weinstein interview, you'll hear a bit where Weinstein briefly talks about Lou Elizondo. I still do not understand to this day why Joe Rogan's not had that conversation with Lou. There was a point where I would have said that would have been the guy to get on. Do you think that he's invited him on and Lou's declined?
I don't know.
Would you not say that that's the guy that would have been the guy to get on, though, at the time?
For a hot minute, maybe. See, he's had Mellon on, hasn't he?
He's had Mellon, which is Lou's buddy.
To the stars.
You know, when Mellon was on, Mellon didn't once mention TTSA, and nor did Joe Rogan.
I'm not surprised
mention, but neither did Joe. Joe didn't mention TTSA, which did surprise me, because I thought he would say, tell us about your time with Tom. Never happened. Odd as fuck. Oh yeah, I mean,
I don't know. See, that's the thing, and what you don't know, right? There's definitely some pre-production work goes on with Rogan. Also, it's not live anymore, so that means it's possible things get edited out. There has definitely been moments when people have said things on Rogan's podcast. There was a particular one with Eddie Bravo, actually. I can't remember what they were talking about, but it was something interesting. Eddie Bravo started going into Eddie Bravo mode, And the next thing it was like Rogan going, "Yeah, well, I need a piss, so we're gonna cut for a minute. I need to go for a piss." And then it came back, and it was like they started talking about something completely different. And Bravo sounded like he'd been like, let's
Strangled.
just simmer that down a little bit. No, fucking. Joe Rogan is doing many things. Strangling Eddie Bravo is not one of them. But don't forget Eddie.
Would Ed win in a fight?
Eddie Bravo trained Joe Rogan in jiu-jitsu.
Oh, did he? No,
Eddie Bravo is one of the best jiu-jitsu artists in the world of all times.
Is he? He's also a flat earther.
Oh, massive flat earther. But the thing is that when Rogan had Macaulay Culkin on, yeah, really good podcast. It's about an hour and a half.
Yes, he was. I remember watching.
Not once did they bring up Michael Jackson. Not once. That's not an accident.
Do you think Macaulay might have just gone, "Listen, Joe"? That
would have been part of the rules of the interview.
Just not make this about Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Oddly enough, we don't touch Michael Jackson, which is probably.
I really, really, really do not want that to be true. So,
what do you know? Come on.
I don't want it to be true. I fucking love his music, but I would not. I would not trust my mum and dad to put me in his bed. But I like his music.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot believe it if you want, but you know the guy that used to have children stay around his house, which he turned into a theme park.
Yeah, I'm not being funny, but
that he called Neverland. No, hang on, that he called Neverland. And then just when he had them stay there, like he had his bedroom, which was behind a secret door in like a secret room of the house that you couldn't find.
Oh God, he is bad.
He is.
I love his music though.
I do. The wildest thing was about Michael Jackson, and like I'm not sure what the best way to put this thing is. Michael Jackson had nothing to do with his own children, and no one talks about it.
Did he not?
He's white. Sorry, they're white.
Oh yeah, they are, aren't they?
Nobody talks about the fact that his kids are white.
Yeah, because that's like. I'll be honest with you, I totally forgot Michael Jackson was black.
Exactly. It's such a bizarre thing that no one ever brings up.
Do you know what my mum used to say?
I can imagine it's more difficult to bring up nowadays because like it's a tightrope you're walking there. But like if you're going to accuse me of being racist to the guy which was a massive child molester, then you're probably getting you're on the wrong side.
Yeah, he used to blame it on like a skin condition and like this, that, and the
alopecia, wasn't it? Is it alopecia?
Yeah. I don't know if that was the thing. He
didn't see like.
I don't think it was anything to do with he didn't like the color of his skin or this, that, and the other. I think he just literally went fucking mental on the fucking plastic surgery and all that jazz, and just thought that was his style. You know, it's. I don't know if you'll ever know the answer to that. If he was one of those or not. I hope not, because I loved his music. And I would not be able to play that music again.
But
isn't it odd that they still use Gary Glitter music? You know that they still play that song now. It was in the Joker. It was in the Joker. You know when he's going down the stairs.
Oh yeah, but that's kind of why they use it. They use.
But he's a fucking raging. But he's a raging nonce.
Yeah,
he's a proud nonce. He fucking is. Gary Glitter's a proud nonce. He's a nonce. And he's proud of it. This isn't getting monetized. Same MJ was a huge part of my childhood. Yeah, I think he was a lot. Well, let's hope he wasn't a part of too many children's child. Yeah, oddball man. Was he a pervert? I have no idea.
Went mutoed then. Yeah, of course he was. Of course he was.
But speaking of very strange things, so the thumbnail, and I don't know, I kind of wanted to speak a little bit tonight about the weird reptilian thing that's been trending.
Yes.
We've seen this before quite a few times. Where's your headspace when it comes to seeing these weird things that happen on TV when it comes to it's
I think there's more evidence. I think there is more evidence of odd looking people.
Sure. Look at his eyes. There were a few of him there like this.
Look at his ear.
Very obvious.
Fuck his eyes. Look at his ear.
But
look at his eyes. I don't want to date him. I'm not trying to romance him. Look at his freakishly shaped ears and his pointy facial features and the way he looks at that man like he just wants to gobble his liver up.
Do you know what with this one though? Fucking look at him. He's weird, isn't he?
Oh my God, Alan is on it. Absolutely, Alan. I feel like giving you a super chat for that.
I do think, though, had you put any bald man without a beard in that position and had him go like this, you'd probably get that. I think it's
get fucked.
Look at the police officers when they go past, yeah. His head,
that absolutely normal looking human being that just put his head in front of the fucking thing. There's the areas again. Completely normal looking human being. Probably should be Father Christmas in a few years' time.
Why is he? That's a good thing. Why is he looking?
He's probably got my beard from the future as well. I'm going grey in the same areas that he's grey, and he's got a few years on me. That's so strange. Pause it when he's on side profile.
Do you know Joe Rogan tweeted about this?
He's probably his cousin. Right.
Very
pause now.
Obvious.
Just look how fucking pointy the chin is.
Have you never seen a pointy chin?
He looks like a motherfucking elf.
Just look like an elf.
Spiritual.
This poor bastard. Can you imagine if he's just sat at home and he's seen himself trend on social media and gone, "Not a fucking alien."
That's a funny thing, right? Do you know what? If it is like Keith from fucking accounts, imagine how bad Keith feels right now. I don't look like a reptilian. I'm just.
It's like talking to his missus going, "Do I really look like that?"
It's like,
no, I do, don't I?
I thought you said you were allergic to my aftershave. It's not that at all. Every time I try and kiss you, you're throwing up.
Do you remember the one was it with Obama? And it was his like
that one
was
fuel.
Weird.
That's worth finding actually to bring that up, Ollie.
It is. Keep talking.
Yeah,
so I can find it.
But
what would I type in for that?
It's just Obama reptilian, and he will not be far away. Yeah, he looks so strange, and he just looks completely out of place. Unbelievably bored as well. Would it not make sense if we were like dabbling in the DNA of people? I mean, maybe he's some sort of fucking super assassin. You know, maybe he's, it's one of those people with just crisped a few chromosomes here, crisped a few chromosomes there. The next thing is we have got L47. That's looking pretty bored with crazy ears.
Bam, a reptile. Oh, there we go. That's the one.
It's Moody Mongol. I won't bring it up because you're doing this. I'll just read it out. You wake up and see a picture of yourself with the header, giant-headed, pointy-chinned alien discovered. I bet all his mates just kept sending him articles. The guy has been bullied. If he's not an alien, or if he's not like a reptilian,
he has been bullied.
He's just been bullied on a global scale.
So here it is. This is the classic.
I'm not gonna lie. I would hope that maybe super soldiers would be handsome, though.
Yeah.
Look at the head movements on him. He looks so weird. What does it give the side profile here?
This is the full thing.
There's one where he opens his mouth as well. It's the side profile because there he just looks like a bodyguard.
But this thing is, the guy behind him, his face looks to be glitching a little bit as well.
I don't think anything looks like it's glitching there. No. Oh no, yeah. There he is. He's behind there. That side profile is balmy. Very similar to that guy as well. Look at the pointy chin, pointy facial features. Ear is very similar as well. That's freakishly similar, actually, isn't it? Comments.
Maybe it's just the.
Tell me what you think.
Maybe it's just the camera, though, that doesn't quite pick it up, the detail.
No, but I'm going by the chin and the cheekbone and the way. See, there's. Can I demonstrate this?
Hang about. I'll bring up the thumbnail.
Hang on, no. If you just look at me, and bring him back to where he's got the side profile on.
Okay, let's bring.
It's that thing that looks weird because like we've all got that sort of ridge on the back of our head, yeah. But it's the same with the other guy as well. It's like the chin runs all the way up the jawbone and connects. What are you doing? And connects to the back of the head, ridge. See,
you miss Rich, don't you? You miss him.
I do, of course. I like Rich. But yeah, it just seems they're strange facial features. I've never seen a human man look like that to my face, and I know more than my fair share of bald, thin men.
Too many, I've heard.
No, just the right amount.
I don't know with these. Like, I kind of feel like people are reaching with them.
I'll tell you what, that the evidence that they are
there's more evidence there than there is for Bob Lazar's story.
UFOs in general. I love the fact that this guy's put a fake fucking like heat signature thing on. What you doing pulling like a heat signature from a normal camera, are you, my guy? I don't think so.
That is very valid. So that's one of the other things with these. A lot of these have been recorded off a screen, and when they're recorded off a screen, you do get that weird pixelation distortion.
You do, yeah, but it's still, I think those two people look very strange, and they look stranger than the people that are around them.
Because this
There were a few of
this
him
poor-
there like
This poor guy that's just gone about his business. His wife has divorced him now.
He's
Does she
gone
think-
about his deep business of depopulating the humans.
But this is like ever saying here. It is a guy that is filming. He's filming his computer screen.
Yeah.
Hang about though. At the same time, he's noticed it on the screen. So I would like to see the original. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm sure it's out there. You know, I'm sure someone will put it up on social media somewhere.
No, I've only seen this TikTok one. I've not seen the original one. And seen old Will Riker hit there that looks like say stop filming my alien mate here.
It's like, no, Heather, it's not just because they're bald. There's something weird looking about him. But
Yeah, it is odd. I'm sure we'll see some of these when we go to America. Did Dave say that we should arrange a meetup with
Sligo,
people?
hang about. Wasn't Sligo? I shaved all my hair off. I didn't come on this show and everyone went, "Oh my god, it's a reptilian." No, I just looked like me with no hair.
There was two people that did.
Oh, two reptilian people. Damn it. Yeah. Did they find the reptilian thing sexy? No. All right, moving on.
I'm trying to think of a polite answer for that. That's weird there with the cheek. Like how the
there.
cheek
Yes, Heather. He does have a funky ear. By funky, you mean reptilian ear.
Do you believe in reptilians? Do you think there's people that are disguised? Fuck. You showed me the Biden thing. The scratch. Was it Dave or you? I can't remember.
Oh, I posted it up on our little chat. Yeah, that's wild.
That is weird. I'm going to bring that up.
I think there is.
Do you think that'll get us fucked if we bring it up?
No, absolutely not. We've just accused two separate presidents of having reptilian bodyguards. Like, we're through the looking glass, Dorothy. We're fine.
Dave says we should have a meetup, Lee, like with alien addict people.
I think that'd be lovely.
What if, like, me and you, we go to a bar and they just come into the bar and they feed us beer?
Yeah, I didn't. So I suppose, like, look, if we're 2 hours into the show, very near. If anyone's going to come, it's going to be the people listening to this at this point. But yeah, we are going to Knoxville. Is that where we're going?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, if some of you guys in the US, which is the vast majority of you, I think, are interested in coming and meeting up and having a pint, we can.
Should we set some up on Twitter or something? Like, we need to do something official, like, to know. Otherwise, it should be a waste of time. We'll just turn up, saying that I'm fine with turning up at a pub and nobody being there.
No, that's the thing. Yeah, we could do an we could work out a bar to be at, and we'll just go and sit there for 12 in the afternoon and say, look, we are definitely going to be here for the next 4 hours, probably
8 hours away.
See, just drive
Go
faster.
ahead. Oh, don't be telling her to drive faster. Don't be driving. Get a taxi. No, don't get a taxi. Jesus Christ. An 8-hour taxi. God, that taxi driver would love you, Heather.
The in the story of Lee and Ollie get to America, because of the cost of living crisis, it almost cost us £200 and something each for a train to London, which is wild.
But back is like 20-something quid each. It's weird.
Yeah,
weird. I found it, Lee. I've got it.
Go get it. Hit me with it.
Hit me with your rhythm stick. Make it loud and make it quick. Present. Share screen. Okay, so there we go. Oh, he's another truth seeker. But it's not
Oh
Stephen.
yeah,
Ooh.
no, it's a really good,
Ooh.
it's a really good Twitter profile. I follow that.
I wonder who did it first.
Isn't Stephen Truth Seekers?
Yes, he is. He's got the "cause" at the end.
Yeah, he is. He is a plural truth seeker.
Right, there we go.
North Carolina, and he was a very conservative guy who was very, very.
Oh my gosh, that's a mass.
African American.
Holy cow.
He always had blood.
So weird.
Key to success. North Carolina, and he was a very conservative guy who was very, very.
Oh my gosh, that's a mass.
African American.
Could it be just be old man skin?
Could be. No, it absolutely could be. But it looks very weird. I mean, I have a friend.
Look, his ear there. Look at that fucking ear. That's a Vulcan right there.
It is a weird ear. There is some definite credence to the young Biden and old Biden's ears are very different. But but no, on the skin thing, I do have a friend that has a really
Stretchy
weird skin condition, kind of, and she can when she has like a flare up, you can if you draw a smiley face in her, like push your fingers into her skin, it will stay like Play-Doh. It's really weird. But that's strange as well.
I don't know if that's an artifact left from the finger, you know.
No, it's not an artifact, that mate. You've got to look around.
Is that working when is he fingering his neck when I do that?
Yeah. You've got to look at everything else when you look at artifacts. An artifact wouldn't just be in one singular place; it would be somewhere else.
Look at his other fucking finger, Lee. Look at his thumb. Look what happens to his thumb. His thumb's fucked up. There's a lot going on there.
No, his thumb's just moved. I think his thumb's just moved. But
no, look at it. That's what I'm saying. There's so many artifacts that how do we trust this? You know what I mean? Look, his thumb's fucked. I think it's just
I think it's just old man thumb. That I think that's just old man thumb. You know, old people when they get like flat thumbs.
I feel a meme.
Yeah, but that's strange. But yeah, there is definitely more evidence for funky things like this than there is flying saucers. Joe, this is the thing. Like the truth is probably.
You saw something then. You saw something then. You laughed.
No. The truth is probably like far more wild than any of the conspiracy theories that we often peddle.
And Sunday's probably going to be one of the biggest ones that we've been wanting to do for a while now. His neck was Wi-Fi.
His neck has Wi-Fi. It tickled me. Oh.
Yeah. So we've gone for about nearly 2 hours. Sunday, Lee. Let's let the people know what your show's about. And I think it's quite fitting in where we've ended on this one on.
We are going to do a show on the life and times of Aleister Crowley. Luckily enough, we have people coming on. Oh, I hadn't noticed that before, that you put the musty audio thing on the top of his bonds. That looks good.
You fucking kidding me? You didn't notice I did that?
No, I didn't notice it now. I think we've got good people coming on the show because I've tried to do some like
research. Five of us.
Yeah. I've tried to do some research on Aleister Crowley, and he's not really the thing you can cram for. It turns out it's very convoluted. I watched like a pretty mainstream documentary about him, which was really weird, which had like sort of like modern day magicians involved. But I don't think we do magic. I think they kind of it looked more like a swingers cult than like a magic. But you're talking about a guy which had such incredible clout within like popular pop culture circles. Isn't it weird how you get Aleister Crowley, Charles Manson, Abrima Abramovich, which however you pronounce it. Like,
Modern day Crowley.
Weird people, like weird, dangerous people, and somehow the celebrities and like the Hollywood glitterati like flock to them.
Well, maybe they know where the bread's been buttered.
Maybe, but that's the thing. Where, how so? Like, what's the? Yeah, I think you could argue. Could you argue Crowley popularized modern day Satanism? It's him and Anton LaVey, isn't it? That popularized modern day Satanism.
I'll go with you and say that this week's been a fucking minefield, because I thought if I'm going to go on Sunday and talk
I feel like
Crowley,
I know less. If I'm honest, I feel like I know less than I went in with.
Do you know what though? Have you listened to the podcast? They divert more than we do, because they just no, but they literally they have no clue what they're talking about when it comes to Aleister Crowley. I've noticed that most people, they go all over the place, which is why I think it's a good idea that we've got 5 people on. And nobody seems to know about fucking Lamb. Nobody.
No.
I can't seem to find anything.
Do I have
anybody that has information about Lamb, tweet us on Twitter. Mossy Audio and Alien Addict. We have the same thing now. But.
Do you know the last? This only goes in. I mean, we might talk about this more. I'll dig the posts up. I had them ready for last week just in case we got involved in it, but we didn't get there. David Bowie on BowieNet, which was his like, I think it was an internet service provider, wasn't it? It's on the forum for BowieNet. He posted under Sailor, and his last 2 posts were talking about how Google was evil, which I mean Google was just Google at the time as well, and talk about the danger of the Illuminati. Really, like I'd never seen these posts before. I will pull them up so we can so we can show them verbatim in the next show.
Yeah, and also I wish we could play a Black Star song as well, because that as well, it's like,
well, we can do stuff like that. We're better off doing.
I don't think we should play music, but
no, I think not now. But on the there's no reason why we can't do like the reaction video we did on Musty Audio, and no, like just a reaction video to a thing, because we won't get a copyright strike. We will just get that video will be demonetized and diverted to the people that have it.
We don't care about that.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. So there's no reason why we couldn't do something like that separately. I think it'd be quite interesting. I think there's if we were going to go down this road of satanic imagery in pop culture, I would like to go through a couple of Billie Eilish's videos.
Yeah,
I'd like to go through.
I didn't know.
I'd like to go through Billie Eilish as well. But then there's someone I wouldn't particularly like to go through. Is if you've seen the debauchery that comes the way of Sam Smith lately.
Is that the guy that dresses as a balloon?
Yeah, he dresses like a pork joint.
He dresses as a UAP.
Yeah. But yeah,
I will say this.
Weird.
With You may think when you're watching a UFO/alien show, why are you about to watch a Sunday show about Aleister Crowley? It's all fucking linked, people. He spoke about dimensional things a long time ago, and we're speaking about dimensional beings. And also, he kind of put the first grey out there. Would you say I'm correct there, Lee? That is the, other than the ancient alien wall paintings of the greys, that is the first picture of that a human drew.
It would be nice. I wonder when those cave paintings were like discovered in popular culture. You know, like those Aboriginal, because Australia, isn't it? Aboriginals did them.
Yeah. But the thing is with those, I mean, is it just people just really shit at drawing?
I mean, they're clearly drawing something. Like there was something that I was watching really, like I found really interesting the other day. It was when I went through a thing. I implore people to do this. Actually, I said this last week, and I've followed my own advice, and I've been finding like a much better, like social media video, like fun is. So in my web browser now, I have like where I used to just have a YouTube tab. I've got a TV folder because I'm old school like that, and I have on top of YouTube, so I have to go through those first. I have Rumble, Odyssey, and BitChute. So when I've been going on to the worldwide interwebs to look at conspiracy stuff, I've been finding myself more drawn to go into Rumble or BitChute. BitChute's a bit Wild West, I get it, but so I found myself looking at some stuff on that. I ended up on one looking at old maps, and it was a documentary or like a thing about Tartaria, and the interesting thing was, and someone said, yeah, okay, it could just be for art, but they started talking about all of the cryptid animals that were found on ancient maps, like just like. And they're saying it's almost like if you take out your roadmap, why would you have if you looked at took the city guide of London out and
Google Maps with dinosaurs?
Yeah, and it's fucking dinosaurs and a fucking Minotaur there next to the M25. It makes no sense. It makes no sense to have mythical animals on what is supposed to be a factual map.
It's like, be careful here because this motherfucker you may stumble across.
Yeah, it's weird. That Tartaria stuff I find fascinating. The mud flood theory. How's it going, man? The mud flood theory is just I don't know. I don't know what to think about.
Say it.
Say what?
What is it, Lee? The mud fear. It's what?
Fucking wild, Ollie. Those drink bottles look so cool. I need to get one.
I'll order us. Yeah. I think I get it. If I order off the site, I get like a cost discount or something.
Maybe
a couple.
Do we need merch to travel in so we can keep taking like?
I think we should travel in full blown alien addict, like shorts, socks.
I'm not
t-shirts. Okay. We've not got hats yet. We'll do that.
Can you get slides? Can we get alien addict slides?
All right, Lee. If you really want me to show our merch off, there you go. There you go, people. Fill your boots. That's quite fitting for tonight. Somebody's just bought one of those actually. So whoever's just bought it, I want a picture.
I'm sad nobody's got a Musty Audio shirt yet. I'd like Musty Audio shirts in the wild.
Yeah, so if somebody wants to get one of Lee's shirts, send Lee a picture wearing the shirt, that would be wild.
Mm.
But people, tune in Sunday, 9 p.m. GMT, 4 p.m. Eastern, because we are going to be talking about Crowley. There's going to be 5 of us there. We're still to this very moment, like every day, we have been watching podcast documentaries and all sorts of them. Man, I did find that quite strange that when I reversed the image of Lamb, the costume that he's wearing kind of represented an orifice.
Does it?
It might be just me.
Yeah.
I have reversed Crowley. Crowley is completely mirrored there. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah. So it's going to be good. It's going to be a cool show. Sunday, 9 p.m. GMT, 4 p.m. Eastern.
Cheers, guys.
And remember, hashtag it. If you want it to happen, you got to put the pressure on people. Share this video out.
Why does Eric Weinstein have? Why does his hands look like he's going and saying UFOs were shot down as recently as last Friday?
God, you've gone and done it, haven't you? You've gone and fucking done.
I have seen the logs. I have seen the videos. We have attempted shoot downs of UAPs on a regular basis. We're talking as recently as last Friday.